The first day of a new semester always carried a strange mix of excitement and dread. At Westwood High, the atmosphere was no different. Students shuffled through the bustling hallways, lockers slammed, and laughter echoed between the walls. Among the sea of familiar faces, one new presence stood out. She was young, not much older than the seniors themselves, her crisp white blouse tucked neatly into a modest black skirt. Her dark brown hair tied into a bun that framed a face with sharp eyes hidden behind thin glasses. Her name was Miss Elena Carter, the newly appointed math teacher. Elena had graduated top of her class, chosen this school for her first teaching assignment, and came in with a heart full of passion to guide and inspire. Yet, beneath her calm and gentle appearance, she carried a past no one at Westwood knew about. A past forged in discipline, sweat, bruises, and quiet victories inside a dojo where she had trained since childhood. A past crowned with a black belt in Judo, a secret she had never flaunted, for she didn't believe in violence. But life has a way of dragging out hidden strengths when darkness knocks too loudly. The hallways, however, weren't as welcoming as she had hoped. Westwood High was notorious for its group of bullies, a pack of arrogant seniors led by none other than Jason Briggs, a tall, broad-shouldered boy with sharp cheekbones, a smirk that screamed entitlement, and a cruel laugh that followed him everywhere. His friends, Tyler, Mark, and Drew, formed his shadow, a gang that thrived on humiliating others, feeding off fear, and treating the school like their personal playground. When Elena walked past them for the first time, holding a folder full of lesson plans close to her chest, she felt their eyes scanning her, mocking her youth. Jason leaned casually against a locker, eyes narrowing as he whispered to his crew loud enough for her to hear, "Look at this. Fresh meat. They really sent us a kid to teach math." His words drew laughter from his friends, and a few nearby students chuckled nervously, afraid to show sympathy for the teacher who instantly became a target. Elena, though, didn't flinch. She had been underestimated before, by male colleagues, by competitors on the mat, even by herself. She offered only a polite nod and kept walking toward her classroom. But Jason's smirk widened. He loved easy prey. By the time the first week passed, the students began to whisper about their new math teacher who looked too soft to survive Westwood. She wasn't weak, but her kindness was being mistaken for fragility. She spoke softly, explained patiently, and never raised her voice, even when students tested her limits. Her belief in respect and discipline guided her actions, but Jason and his crew took this as permission to push harder. It started with whispers in the back row, jokes about her clothes, mocking her voice, and deliberately refusing to solve problems on the board. Elena handled it with grace, but the more she refused to snap, the more the bullies wanted to break her. They couldn't stand that she didn't give them the reaction they craved. One afternoon, as the bell rang and the hallway filled with bodies, Elena was making her way to the staff room when Jason stepped directly into her path. His eyes gleamed with mischief as he blocked her way with one arm against the lockers. "Hey, Miss Carter," he said, mocking the honorific. "How about you solve this math problem? What's one teacher divided by 4 men? Answer crushed." His friends burst out laughing. Elena adjusted her glasses and replied in a calm tone, "Excuse me, Jason, you should head to your next class." Her voice carried authority, but Jason wasn't listening. He wanted a show. Before she could step aside, Jason shoved her shoulder, forcing her back into the row of lockers with a loud metallic clang. The hallway fell silent. Dozens of students froze, eyes wide, some pulling out phones to record. The echo of the impact seemed to reverberate in slow motion, and Elena felt the sting against her back. For a moment, she stayed still, her hands clutching her folder, her breath steady. She could feel the old instincts stirring inside her chest, the muscle memory of years on the mat, the discipline her sensei had drilled into her. She could almost hear his voice, "Control the storm, Elena. Power is nothing without restraint." Jason smirked, leaning closer as though he had already won. "What's wrong, Miss Carter? Gonna run to the principal? Gonna cry?" His friends laughed again, louder this time, emboldened by the silence of the crowd. But Elena's eyes, hidden behind her glasses, shifted, sharp, unblinking, and piercing through Jason's false bravado. She calmly picked up the folder she had dropped, adjusted her blouse, and said nothing. For a split second, Jason faltered. That silence wasn't weakness. It was a warning, though he was too arrogant to recognize it. Pathetic. He muttered, shoving her harder this time, trying to push her fully against the lockers. The loud clang rang again, But this time Elena moved differently. Her body turned ever so slightly, her feet planting firmly on the ground, her posture straightening. The students watching felt it too. The air in the hallway shifted. Jason, blinded by pride, didn't notice. He reached for her arm, ready to drag her like a trophy for his friend's entertainment. And that was his mistake. In one fluid motion, Elena stepped aside, grabbed his wrist with precision, and pivoted her body in a seamless arc. The crowd gasped as Jason's towering frame lifted off the ground, his body flipping through the air before slamming onto the floor with a thunderous thud. His friends froze. The hallway erupted in shock, phones shot higher, capturing every second. Jason groaned, humiliated, his smirk wiped clean. He tried to scramble up, but Elena didn't give him the chance. Calmly, without even raising her voice, she said, "Class dismissed." The way she said it sent chills through the air, and the students scattered like leaves in the wind. Tyler, Mark, and Drew exchanged panicked looks. They hadn't expected resistance, let alone a perfectly executed judo throw. But before they could react, Elena adjusted her glasses again, her expression unreadable. She didn't boast. She didn't threaten. She simply stood there unshaken, as though she had been holding back all along. Jason scrambled to his feet, his pride wounded more than his body. This isn't over," he spat, backing away as his friends pulled him down the hall. The crowd parted, whispers flooding the air. A legend had just been born at Westwood High. The quiet young math teacher wasn't fragile at all. She was a storm hidden behind calm skies. As Elena walked toward the staff room, her heels clicking softly against the floor, she knew this was only the beginning. The bullies wouldn't stop, not after being embarrassed in front of the whole school. But she also knew she wasn't afraid. She had faced stronger opponents, bigger battles, and deeper scars. If they wanted to test her, they would soon learn the consequences of underestimating the quiet strength she carried. And somewhere deep inside, a fire flickered, not of anger, but of resolve. She wasn't just here to teach math. She was here to teach respect.